All righty. Well, hi, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Monica Nesbitt. I'm the development manager with the NANP, and I'm delighted to welcome Dr. H from the Energetic Health Institute with us today. So I want to give you a brief bio, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. H, and he's going to tell you all about his fabulous school. So Dr. H is the founder of and executive community director for the Energetic Health Institute. He holds a doctorate in naturopathic medicine from SCNM, a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from UCLA, is board certified in holistic nutrition by the NANP, thank you, and has over 20 years of teaching and clinical experience helping people understand how to care for their amazing body by unlocking the healing potential of natural medicines. Dr. H is an ordained minister for all denominations and has been additionally certified as a yoga teacher, clinical massage therapist, human anatomy and physiology teacher, as well as an American Kenpo teacher. He is the first naturopathic doctor to regularly teach at a major university in the US, where he headed up a program at Arizona State University on stress management. And he likes wearing flip-flops while hanging out with trees, doggies, and good people with a lot of love in their hearts. So I think that includes our audience and certainly our canine audience. So thank you so much, Dr. H. I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Monica, so much. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's in attendance live and everybody who may be watching this on a recording. Really, really appreciate you being here and your interest in the Energetic Health Institute. It's really a privilege of ours to be able to have the opportunity to serve you. Now, today, the NAMP and Monica especially did a great job of organizing this and directing the questions. So we're going to look at 15 questions today. And of course, I love interaction. So you can use the chat box if you're on live. You can use the chat box to ask questions. Monica will forward them over to me and then we'll get your questions answered. If you're watching this on recording, you can always reach out to us at info@energetichealthinstitute.org, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. We're just super excited always to talk with prospective students and do what we can to help you fulfill your dreams. So let me bring on screen right now a presentation that we put together. 1 second here. So I'm going to be technologically challenged. Give me a second. Okay, let me bring it up here. And here we go. Now let's get into the questions first. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you on a little quick tour of our online school so you can get a little peek behind the curtain. And we'll take a little tour on some of the aspects of our website as well for you. And I hope you really enjoy what you have to see. So first and foremost, what we want to show you right here is that I often get asked, why are we doing what we're doing? I think it's an important thing for us to be able to share with you. Well, I studied a lot, as you could tell from what Monica said in my bio. I've been in a lot of classrooms, and some of the classrooms were fantastic. A lot of phenomenal teachers, felt great and everything. And one truism came very apparent. People will forget what you tell them, all right? And I'm certainly guilty of that with some of the lessons that were taught to me. People will forget what you tell them, but they'll never forget the way you make them feel. And so one of the things that was so important to me was to take the feeling that I got from the best educations that I got, the best schools I went to, the best teachers, the best experiences, and make sure we infuse that into our school so that every student feels special when they come to EHI, not from start to finish, not just in marketing because it sounds good, but because we feel and acknowledge you as family. That's what we are at the Energetic Health Institute. So I wanted to build a school that was more than just a school, a home where everyone feels like family, a place where we could really celebrate intelligence and curiosity. And it could be a sanctuary for us, especially in these harrowing times where, every time we turn on a TV or go online, it's seemingly there's some bad news. That it's important for us to have a place we can go to learn in an environment where there isn't bad news, there's only good news, and also learn how to do something about that bad news, that we can make tomorrow truly amazing. So I wanted to have a school where every student could really follow their heart. Now, when we look at this, and what you're going to see on the right side of every slide that we go over today, you're going to see a graduate, one of our real live graduates. In this case, it's Sarah and she's just phenomenal yogi and now a holistic nutritionist. And I think she's working on her board certification right now. But these questions hopefully give you some insight into how we do things at EHI. And again, if you have additional questions and you're on live, let us know in the chat box. If you're watching this on a recording, info@energetichealthinstitute.org. So how are the lessons within our holistic nutrition program taught? And is the program virtual, held in person, and an in-person classroom, both? We are 100% online. Okay, and I think that's really an advantage in this day and age, and especially with all the uncertainty around education. But just because you're online, it doesn't mean you're alone, and that's sometimes what happens in online curricula as they're designed. So the first thing that you're going to get when you enroll is my direct cell phone number. Every student texts me the moment they enroll. We start a conversation, and you know from point blank from the start that you are family. You don't have to jump through any hoops to get in touch with me. My job is to make sure that I'm available for you, whether it's something educationally or something health-wise. We want to make sure that you are getting healthier every single day that you're in school. My promise to every student is that you will graduate healthier than when you started if you take the opportunity to explore the experiential component in every single lesson. Every single lesson we have has an experiential component so that you feel connected at all times. Now, on top of that, we have every Thursday a live master class where every student is invited to attend, and we have a great group of about 30, 40 students that show up every Thursday, and some people here and there can when they can make it. But what's so awesome is at EHI, even though we're online, you never ever feel alone. And what I think makes us really, really special is that every single teacher that you interact with, every member of the faculty you interact with is here to support you. We are big on encouragement. We're big on promoting the aloha spirit, which is about love energy. We're big on making sure that you feel like the special person you are, because we know that when we can help you feel loved, it's going to make your educational experience feel so much more real, and it's going to help you actually tap into something that is incredible for learning, and that's called neurosynaptic plasticity. Neurosynaptic plasticity, excuse me, is how your brain is designed to learn so you can accelerate your learning process and you can optimize the speed of recall. That's how we've built our entire curricula. We are one of the first schools that I've ever heard of that has designed their entire curricula based upon the principles of neurosynaptic plasticity, and it has a great deal to do with the aloha spirit and encouragement. So it's a really nice thing to put together right there. Now, the next question that Monica wanted us to be able to answer was, is our holistic nutrition program a self-paced style of learning, or does it keep up to a specific schedule? Well, it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. What we do when a student enrolls, it is self-paced, but we do have minimum requirements every single month. So in your first month, there's no minimum requirement of how many lessons you have to complete. We want you to get familiar with the learning environment, familiar with the school, get yourself acclimated to your fellow students, teachers, and everything, and get yourself off to a really good start. When in your first full month, that's when we have minimum requirement standards, minimum participation standards. And that is for most months, completing simply 3 lessons per month. That usually amounts to, each lesson is anywhere from, on average, from 8 to 12 hours. So over the course of a month, what we're asking you to do is really spend roughly about 24 to 36 hours spread out around your schedule, because that's where the self-pace comes in, so you can get your work done and you can be on pace to graduate within 24 months. Now, we don't believe in being punitive. So if you need to take the scenic tour, which a lot of students have to do, we have overtime opportunities. So students who need more than 24 months can, for a very small fee, purchase more time. And especially if there's some family issue going on or health issue going on, we have leave of absences and things like that. We are here to support you. We're not here to be just one more stressful part of your life. We're here to help you reduce the stress in your life and to learn skills that are going to help support the reduction of stress and the promotion of health throughout your entire life. So we are here for you, point blank. Now, so it's a little bit self-paced. Yes, you can schedule, you can get your work done. Some students get a whole lesson done in a day. They just pick one day each week and say, I'm going to get 8 hours in and I'm going to get everything done. Some students will spread it out over 3 or 4 days of the week. And either way works for us as long as the quality of your work, which is what really matters, is great. That's what we do not compromise on. We don't let students mail in assignments in terms of just doing, their lowest common denominator, least effort. We want you to give the best effort, because when you give your best effort, not only are you improving, but you're preparing yourself to get woven into the fabric of the people's lives that you're going to help in a profound way. And when you put that kind of love energy into your work, what ends up happening is when you graduate and start working with people, you see why you did it, and you start having experiences that not everybody gets to have. Most people in the healing arts don't have the experiences that our graduates do, because most healers in the healing arts haven't had the opportunity to really get good at their craft, to master their craft while they're in school. And that's what our neurosynaptic based education really does. So we're really excited about that. Layla is another one of our fantastic graduates. She had one of the most amazing transformations. You wouldn't know it from looking at this picture, but midway through, she was really struggling, a lot of negative internal dialogue, a lot of self-doubt, and she just completely transformed it, especially in our detox program, which is one of our specialty adjunct courses that you can take as well. She did a great job in that, and we just saw a masterful transformation in her. It's one of those blossoming moments that we see in so many of our students that we're really proud of. And it's a testament not to our education design only, it's a testament to the teachers, the support, the aloha spirit, and especially the student who puts in the work. Now, how much access will students have to their teachers for asking questions, getting additional support, or having discussions outside of course time? If you need an hour, you're going to get an hour. It's unlimited access. You have unlimited personalized attention for you. We really pride ourselves on making sure that we stay in constant communication with our students. For example, one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to submit homework assignments at school, right? You submit the homework assignments. There's over, I think, 200 homework assignments in our holistic nutrition program. And within 48 hours, it's 98% of the time, it's actually within 24 hours. But within 48 hours, a certified teacher is going to get back with you with a response. And it's not just a, hey, good job response. It's a thorough response that's personalized to you and your performance, so you can make sure you're always on track. We have more one-on-one attention than any school we have ever heard of, and we do check the marketplace on this. We do. That's one of our hallmarks. It's what separates the Energetic Health Institute from most other schools. And that's not to say that there aren't great other schools out there. We are not here to put any other school down. We're here to just simply say this is what we do, and this is what we're really proud of, and why we think we're a good fit for you. Is there ample interaction with other students taking the program, or are students fully independent in their coursework? Again, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Students can be fully independent. So we said earlier, 3 lessons per calendar month to stay on track, right? Some students, and you could be that student, you can work faster. We've had students get 8 lessons done in a month, where they just are dedicating their whole, you can work as fast as you want to, as long as your work meets our standards for exceptional submissions. As long as your work is A or B caliber, because if you submit something that isn't an A or a B, then we ask you to resubmit it, and we show you where you need to make the corrections to get it right. We don't care. The way we do things isn't about being punitive. It's about developing you into the best version of yourself. So in that way, we're going to be super encouraging for you, but we're also not going to compromise on the standards that we've set for every student to achieve. I hope that makes sense. We're here to support you, and we're here to help you see just how amazing you really are and can be. So in terms of additional interactions, we can't wait to go to, I think it's San Diego next year, and go down to the NANP conference. And because we do a gathering at every conference, and we usually rent out an Airbnb, and we make dinner together and everybody hangs out. It's a really, really awesome experience. We also started this year doing a second gathering called the EHI Jamboree, where we get together next year. We're going to be getting together in Glacier National Park and having students from all around the country, maybe even around the world, coming and hanging out with us for about 4 days and just getting together. It's an amazing experience. On top of that, we have our weekly master classes. We have our EHI Student Commons, where we have our seed sowing collective, where students from around the country have gotten together to share seeds for their gardens and things like that. So there's many opportunities for students to feel connected. So once again, even though we're 100% online, you will never, ever, ever feel alone. I just will not allow it. All right. It's such an important part. That connectivity, that community is such an important part of the educational process. And we definitely provide that. What is EHI's primary food philosophy, and do we teach a variety of food philosophies for a well-rounded approach? All right, so I'm going to read from this one because I want to make sure I get every key point on here. So if it's safe and gets repeatable clinical results, we teach it. Okay, we are all about making sure we don't force ideologies on the body's physiology. So to that end, at EHI, we teach organic plant-based nutrition. So it's very vegan friendly, very food allergy friendly. We have a great program, great lessons on delayed food allergies, especially. And if we have time, I'll show you some pictures so how you can look and see if somebody has a delayed food allergy. You can actually look at a person's face and tell whether they have delayed food allergies. And I'll show you some pictures if we have some time at the end, and somebody maybe reminds me in a chat. And we're still very inclusive of omnivores. It's very important to me, and keto principle practitioners as well. It's very important to me that we don't get locked into an ideology. It's very important to me that we teach what works. It's very important to me that I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm here to help you figure out what's best for you. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to show you how to think, so that you can think for yourself. It's one of the great joys of being a teacher, is seeing the light bulb come on for students. And I think that's something that we cultivate in each and every student who puts in the work. We also teach breathing meditation for stress management and faith enhancement. We don't teach meditation in a way that would compete with anybody's faith. And we've had some very ardent, strong faith-based people like I am be concerned about that. No, we enhance a person's faith with what we do. We don't compete with it. And we also teach principles like intermittent fasting. All right. See, breathing for us is nutrition. So is not eating is nutrition. So we can get the body engaged into a cellular process called autophagy, which means self-eating, but really what it means is self-healing. And that's the thing, is understanding which situations to use these things. Again, learning how to think, not being told what to think. That's the hallmark of an EHI education. Now, one thing we do focus on for everyone is energy production. And it's really at the core of everything we do, and especially at the mitochondrial level. So everything we do is based upon whether or not what we are offering to you is going to enhance energy production at the cellular level, or if it's going to detract from it. Things that enhance energy production at the cell level promote healing. And that's what this is all about. At EHI, we found clinically that when cells produce energy and healing, and then healing happens. We've also found that one of the worst things a practitioner can do is to force, again, that ideology, especially a food ideology, on the body's physiology. So for us, it's really, really simple. We'll show you how everyone can produce energy, which is quite the same. And we'll also show you how to personalize diets, because everybody is quite different too. And that's where that delayed food allergies comes in. We'll teach you how to listen to the language of your body, how to read the body, so that you get a lot more information. And we'll also show you how to interpret clinical labs and things like that as well. Okay, so you get the best of all of these worlds so you can really understand the person that you're looking at, how to help them the best. But we'll tell you that it all really comes down to energy production. When you are able to help someone produce more energy, it is almost a foregone conclusion that they are going to heal. And that's why it's the foundational piece of everything that we do. Does our holistic nutrition program also include cooking lessons, recipe development, and basic kitchen methodology? Yes, right? We can't teach you about food if we don't show you how to prepare it. So we're going to get into the safest cookwares, the stainless steels, the cast irons, the and everything. And we're going to also show you what to avoid, you know, the non-stick cookware, because it's so amazing when you work with patients, when you work with, excuse me, clients in this case. You know, you'll have people who are spending all this money on really great organic food, and then they're preparing it in Teflon cookware and nonstick cookware. And it's like, okay, well, that's, you know, just counterproductive. So we will get into that nitty gritty, of course. We have a great class on vegan, making delicious raw and vegan foods, because that's what we've seen. Most people can throw some, who are omnivores can throw something on the grill and feel pretty confident with it. But it's the how do we make something that we know to be healthy for us, organic plants, how do we make them taste delicious so our kids want them, so our husbands and wives want them, so our fathers and our mothers want them? How do we make it so that when I'm eating something, not only does it taste good, but I know it's promoting my restoration of health? So that's going to be HNC 102. It's taught by Chef Kirsten Carey, who is also a fantastic practitioner for autoimmune diseases in her private practice. And she's actually a graduate of the school and a dear friend of mine. She's just an incredible person. So you'll get to study with her and Chef Dan and learn how to make some delicious things. I mean, folks, there's some good stuff in that course. You'll really enjoy it. What types of business guidance is offered by our holistic nutrition program? Do we provide business development courses and or resources? Yes, 100% yes. The final course in our certification program, HNC 302, is our business course, and it's going to help you get off the ground. So you're going to learn how to get things set up before you even graduate. When I went to medical school, we took a business course, and it was this whole, you know, filling out a business plan and doing all this research and stuff that you never use. It wasn't practical, you know, it wasn't functional. And I think it's important that everything in education today, because we're so stretched thin on time and bandwidth and all this stuff, that everything we share with you is functional at all times. So that's got to extend to the business course as well. So, and when you get into 302, the last course in the certification, you start developing your business. Now, some people don't want to go into business, and that's fine with it. There are ways that there are things that you can do in the course at 302 to finish, of course, your coursework. But my encouragement to everyone, bless you, my encouragement to everyone is to still take advantage of the course, because life is funny. Sometimes, you know, 1 year as you're graduating, you may not feel like you want to go into business with this, but then you start getting people asking you all these questions because they know you know the answer, and you start helping them. You start going, hey, maybe I could turn this into at least a part-time extra income, right? Maybe I do want to do this. You know, I'm not happy at my job anymore. I want to turn this in. So we help you set yourself up for success in business, so that the moment you graduate, you're not wasting your time developing business plans and stuff like that. You actually have functional, real world, modern things ready to go, websites and so forth, and everything ready to go. But I tell you, it's definitely the business class that I wanted to take, that I wish I would have taken, instead of all the time and money and energy I wasted in the business class at the school I went to. Now, Dane is one of our graduates. He does a lot of great work working with inflammatory bowel disease. That's the hallmark of his program and his business. And he's fantastic at it, so much that he's actually training people how to treat inflammatory bowel conditions, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, things like that, based upon what he learned at the Energetic Health Institute and in working with me directly. And I'm really proud of him and everything he's doing. He's helping so many people right now. Is there a job placement component to our holistic nutrition program? Uh, at EHI, we offer each student the opportunity to engage in an optional student internship. Okay. And you do that with a healthcare practitioner local to where you live. And so, in many instances, this is developed, right? This is developed into a job opportunity. So, what you're seeing here, this is, I type it out wrong so I can pronounce it correctly because I always get worried about mispronouncing her name. It's if you spell it, it's spelled Aileen, but she pronounces it Eileen. So Eileen, one of our favorite graduates, she did an internship at a cancer clinic in Orange County, and the doctor that she was working with, the oncologist she was working with, was so impressed with her work and her ability nutritionally to support the cancer patients that they actually hired her the moment she graduated. And this is very common for our students. When you get that internship, and we will help you set the internship up, it is your, as far as we're concerned, your opportunity, your interview for potentially that job. And certainly at the very least, you're going to get a lot of great experience. So as with any new venture, you'll have to learn how to make your own way, right? But that's where EHI is unique. We're going to be there right with you. We're going to help you every step of the way, even after graduation. Just because you graduate doesn't mean you stop being family at EHI. And we're always going to do everything we can to help make sure that you are as successful as you can be. What is our NANP board exam pass-fail rate? How do we help our new graduates get prepared for the NANP board exam? Our pass-fail rate, last time our director of community education checked, all the students over the last 8 years at EHI that have taken the NANP board exam, only 2 failed on the first time. One of them passed it again on their second taking. So I want to say we're in the 40s to 50s. I'd have to confirm that. NANP could confirm that as well. But we have a really spectacular pass rate first time through on the NANP board exam because we do a couple things. Number one, we make sure that the books that you're going to use in the curricula are the books that the NANP is going to use to develop the test. So it's like as you're going through the curriculum, you're already developing and preparing for your exam. So it's a lot easier that way. We also have at the end of the program a board prep course, and this board prep course is open not only to our students, it's included in the education costs and the tuition costs, but it's also open for students of all NANP approved schools to come and study with us. And so we've had a lot of students come from other schools to study in the board exam prep course, get themselves ready. We have 3 full-length practice exams, plus a whole bunch of extra practice questions, plus I think it's like 7 or 8 or 9 different lengthy tips for how to prepare yourself, how to make sure to reduce test anxiety, because that's why one of our students failed, unfortunately, twice in a row, was just test anxiety. He just kept erasing answers that he got right. He just wasn't confident with it. So we show you how to not only prepare for the test, we show you how to have proven test taking strategies that work, and we also go through the material as well with you. So we do everything we can to position our students again to be successful. How long have we been in business? How can you learn more about the amazing people you'll be working with? EHI, the Energetic Health Institute, has been in business since August of 2013. And during that time, we've graduated. Now it's higher than 249 holistic nutritionists. And we have about 500 more still on the way, working every day to get themselves to where they want to be. And what we'll do is I'll show you, once we're done with this part of the presentation, I'll take you over our website where you can see some of the amazing teachers that have also gone through the program and work with me directly to make sure that when you come in, you are so well supported that, again, even though we're 100% online, you never feel alone. And this is Michelle Wilson, and you can tell by her huge smile, she's just a bright light. And one of the things I loved about her with her work was that she always did a wonderful job of researching, always did a wonderful job of finding research that I hadn't even read before. And it's not to say I know everything, because I certainly don't. But it's just always wonderful when, as a teacher, you can read a student's work and you get to learn something in the process. And she was certainly a great example of a student that was that good at what she was doing. And I'm sure she's doing fantastic in practice right now. And I love her little cooking board, over here. It looks like she's in a garage, with all her tools and everything. What is our financial status? Are we financially in good health? Yes, we are regulated by the Oregon Higher Education Coordinating Commission, the HECC, and the Oregon Department of Justice. And these are the two entities in the state of Oregon that regulate all schools and require annual submission of records and fees and payments and all that good stuff. So we are totally regulated and in good standing, and we are in excellent health. And I'll tell you, our board of directors have such a high level of integrity. If we weren't in excellent health, they would not allow us to seek new students. So that's one of our promises. We are a school that believes in 100% transparency and 100% integrity at all times, because that's how you keep a family really, really strong. Does our holistic nutrition program offer financial assistance for students? Well, we don't participate in the federal student loan program, and we are likely not going to. It's a debate we've been having as leadership and board of directors for years. It has cost a lot of money to get to that point where it's like over $20,000 to simply apply for eligibility. And then once you apply, if you're approved, then you are now subject to so many rules that can ultimately compromise your ability to control your curricula and make sure that the students that come in are getting the education you want them to get. Now what you have to start doing is give them the education the government wants them to get. And that's a big problem for us and a big problem for me. We do want to give students every opportunity to make the tuition affordable. So we do keep the tuition as a nonprofit entity. We do keep it incredibly affordable, even though we offer, by our evaluation, the most personalized education on the market, even though we offer more one-on-one attention than any school that we've seen advertised, even though our curricula is top-notch and cutting edge with the neurosynaptic plasticity and the weaving in of the Aloha spirit and very cutting edge topics such as meditation and intermittent fasting and clinical fasting and all these great things, and herbology and delayed food allergies. Even though we do all of that, we still make sure that we keep our tuition at the low end of the spectrum so that students who come in get more and pay a lot less, right? That's something that we wanted to make sure we maintain. We do work with a third-party lender, UGA Finance, which has an alternative student loan program, so you can get your entire education fully funded and actually have 6 months, same as cash, which means if you pay back your full tuition within 6 months, there's zero interest on it, which we really love, and a lot of our students have taken advantage of that program. We've had a great relationship with them over the last 8 years, and we don't see that changing anytime soon. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, registered and recognized by the IRS. That permits us to be tax exempt, and that's what allows us to keep the tuition, again, affordable and low. One of the things that's interesting when schools move up into federal student loan programs is because of the money that it takes to manage all of that behind the scenes, tuitions inevitably have to go up. That's another reason why we have an issue and are likely not going to ever enter into the federal student loan program unless there's some substantial changes at the federal level. Now, with that being said, we will do everything we can to work with you. So if you're interested, go to energetichealthinstitute.org, fill out a scholarship application, get on the phone with one of our welcome specialists, and just absolutely work with us, and we'll work with you to make sure that your dreams can come true at EHI. Oh, and I'll say this, we priced our education based upon this philosophy. We believe a student should be able to recoup their full tuition investment within 12 months of graduation, if not sooner, once they're out in the workforce. So education should never be a life debt, and it will never be at EHI. I can tell you firsthand as a doctor that you're basically taking on at least a small house payment every month, for getting an education for the next 30 years. It's a little ridiculous, in my opinion. So does our holistic nutrition program satisfy the requirements for our specific state laws? And are we in good standing with all regulatory agencies? Absolutely, yes. All right, that's one of our great graduates, Jeremiah Harkin and his wife, Addie Harkin. They're doing a great job in their practice now working with kids. It's just so many cool stories. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the joys of being a teacher and in my position, having the privilege of running the Energetic Health Institute is just so many incredible people we get to meet. And we hope you're our next person that we get to meet, our next incredible person that we get to meet. Do we have an alumni list prospective students can access? Where can our reviews be found? So alumni list, we have a list of alumni. You would, a prospective student could work with our welcome specialists and work with Christine Hoff as well, who heads up our outreach program to connect prospective students to graduates so that you can get their experience. Because sometimes I get it. I think that's totally reasonable for you to want to talk to a graduate. Hey, what was your experience about this? And be able to ask them questions and things of that nature. So we can certainly facilitate that. We also, when students want to read our reviews, we have like hundreds of reviews listed on our website. We also have hundreds of reviews listed on our Google page. And then you can also go and check out maybe our Facebook page and just start getting a sense of what people are saying about us. Every now and then we get some trolls on the Facebook page, which is kind of fun, where they never studied with us, don't know anything about us, but they don't like that maybe I've said something about vaccines or something like that. So just keep that in mind as well. What we would say is if you have any questions or concerns, contact us. We're transparent and we want to make sure that we build trust with every single student, whether they ultimately decide to come and study with us or not. We want to make sure that, like we said at the start, people will forget what you tell them, but they'll never forget the way you make them feel. And so one of our mantras is to make sure every student, every prospective student, every graduate feels special and that we are sharing information from the heart for the betterment of all. Our class credits transferable to other schools, including higher education. We get this question a lot. And it's a great question, but it's always a tricky one for us because whether or not another educational institution accepts credits from a previous school is always up to that educational institution. And if they accept credits from a previous school, that means that they're reducing tuition. So a lot of schools are very reluctant to do that. So our attitude with students is yes, offer it and see what they say, but don't be surprised if the answer is no. When I went to medical school, I was already approved by the state of California to teach anatomy at a collegiate level. When I went to medical school, they made me pay a fee to test out of the first level of anatomy, and which I passed, of course. And then the second level of anatomy and third and fourth and fifth, they would not let me test out. They wouldn't accept any of my credits or anything. So it's always a judgment call and left up to the institution. And there's certainly a financial piece to this as well. So it's just the way things are. And it's so we would never make that promise that, yes, it's all transferable. And any school that's doing that really shouldn't do that because it can be very misleading. Okay, so that right there, and I have some stuff here and stuff like that. What I'd like to do is stop for a second and field some questions, Monica, if we have questions. And then I got a couple of things that I'd like to show. I got some extra little tidbits in there so that we can maybe turn this into a little educational experience too. I like to teach. So
Super.
What do you think?
Super. So yes, does anyone have questions? Pop them in the chat window and I'll be happy to forward them over to Dr. H.
And I'm pulling it up to take a peek at it as well. And even if you don't have any questions, just I see we have a number of folks on right now. Just tell us in the chat box if you have a chance. Tell us how you're doing. This is I like, Monica, those Zooms where, we have everybody on screen, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And, and these always feel a little disconnected. That's what we do on the master classes. Everybody's on screen looking at each other, and it's like the Brady
Well,
Bunch all over the
that's kind of
place.
fun. So,
Yeah.
yes, Lynn asks, what method do you use for assessing clients?
So when we teach in our 301 program, we teach our students how to first collect a health history. So we have a very thorough health history that's based upon a naturopathic intake, where we get it's like 12 pages of information that we get through. And the reason we ask so many questions in an intake and a health history is because every single question gives a little bit of information. It helps us hone in on what the issue is. Then what we do is we teach students how to do a initial interview. And so we were just talking about this in the master class last week. One of the most important things you can do in an initial interview is use open-ended questions. So we teach you how to use open-ended questions that don't result in a yes or no answer. But we also think that one of the most important things you can do is start the interview by just letting the person who's come in to see you talk. We get so often where a person will say, yeah, oh, how can I help you today? And a person will say, oh, well, I came in here for depression. Okay, well, I got something for that. And then they cut the person off before they've gotten any of the story. Well, what we've learned over the years is that medicine is much more than just what can be encapsulated or even modifications in diets. Medicine begins when people feel listened to, because when they feel like they're being listened to, what it does is it drops their defenses. And almost all of us have defenses up at some point, during our day, usually from previous histories and stuff like that. So when you just take a 10, 15 minutes to start the interview by just listening to someone, it allows them to drop their armor, drop their defenses, and just talk. And what that does on a physiologic level is it helps shift them from a state of oftentimes sympathetic fight or flight, where they're really stressed out, into a state of parasympathetic activation, where they are engaging their rest and digest nervous system. So just by listening to someone, you're actually applying medicine. And so we start there. We ask a lot of questions. We teach people how to ask questions, because if you can ask really good questions, you can get really good information. And when you have really good information, you can make really good clinical decisions. And that's where I think it's important for us to make sure when we're assessing clients that the assessment includes assessment of the physical body, right? What do we see? What's going on? It includes energetic assessments using the principles of traditional Chinese medicine, which we teach in the program, so that when you hear somebody's voice cracking or moving, you know that there's something going on with their heart. It incorporates also being able to evaluate labs, complete blood count, complete metabolic panel, lipid panels, thyroid panels, delayed food allergy panels. Now something we're starting to teach is how to read comprehensive stool analysis ×3 for parasitic infections and things of that nature. And then I'll give you all this, everybody that's watching this right now. When a client comes in to work with you, you know one thing about that client right off the bat. You know one thing. You know that they are nutrient deficient. They wouldn't be coming in to see you unless they were nutrient deficient. Your job is to figure out which nutrients those are. And that's something throughout the program we help students learn how to hone in on, by first learning how to hone in on yourself, where your nutrient deficiencies are. And once you've figured that out and use yourself as that first test case, and you start feeling your health improving, okay, with each lesson, then not only do you have the confidence in what you're learning that it works, but you're also preparing yourself to do that same process, repeat that same process with the people you're ultimately going to work with. Lynn, did I answer your question? And does that make sense? Well, I feel like we're on that Jeopardy themes music
Right.
right now, Monica.
No,
What are you waiting for?
that's fine. That's
Okay,
great. I believe that you did. I have a question for you, Dr. H.
sure.
I know that you started out your career more in the traditional field of medicine. And what was the catalyst that changed your direction?
Well, I graduated as a naturopathic doctor, so I don't know if that's traditional or not. But the school I went to was naturopathic in name, but more, I guess, integrative, or wanting to be integrative. You know, and much to the chagrin of a lot of people. Like I really, the one thing I really wanted to study when I went to school that I didn't get to study was live blood cell analysis. You know, so I had to do some studying after school on that and things like that. Um, what really moved me, though, into this field overall, in the healing arts field, was like most people, I was very ill. You know, in 1999, I was going through some really significant health issues that were emotionally based. The origin was emotion, and they had morphed into depression, and the depression had morphed into somatic changes in my body. So this was where I first started getting that deeper understanding of just how important energy and emotion are in terms of healing. And I think what happened for me was I had a moment, Monica, where I was in the mirror and I had hair falling out and big bags under my eyes. My toenails were cracking, and my skin was really pasty. I looked like I was dying, you know, and this is not a hyperbole. I looked and I felt like I was dying, and I had a moment in the mirror where I looked at myself and I said, "Okay, you have choices. You can go to Western allopathic medicine." I've already had by that point a number of bad experiences. I'd already been vaccine injured and got to deal with a lifetime now of seizures. I had almost been killed in a treatment for pneumonia. You know, when I was 4. I just had completely lost any trust or faith with that medical model because I hadn't seen it work. And then, you know, I had all these experiences of loved ones who would go into the hospital one day and never come out. And it was just like, you know, I just got the sense more and more that it wasn't right for me. I'm not saying it's not good for some people. I'm just saying for me, it wasn't right. And so I had that moment in the mirror where I'm looking at myself and I said, you know, you can go into this model that you don't believe in, and they're probably just going to put you on some pills that are going to mean that you're going to end up going on more pills. And I didn't like taking pills and their medicine anyway. Um, or you can learn how to heal yourself. And that thought, I remember that moment. I remember the bathroom, the mustard yellow bathroom I was in when I had that moment. Um, I got chills through my body. I got a chi burst, what I now know as a chi burst, and that told me that that was the right thought. And it just so happened, true story, that I was at that time a computer programmer working on the International Space Station, and at that time, I started calling around. This is back in the day. Remember, Monica, when you could still call 411 when 411 still existed?
I do remember that.
And I called 411 and I got an operator. And the operator, I said, "Hey, I'm looking for an acupuncture school in Santa Monica, California." And she said, "You know, I know which school you're looking for." She started just having a conversation with me. She was like, "You know, I know what school you're looking for, but I got to tell you, I've had some friends who have gone to that school, and it's okay, but it's not great." She said, "I have this other school in Santa Monica that's a shiatsu massage school, and they said it's one of the best schools in the entire country, and but nobody knows about it." And I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Do you want me to give you that number?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Let me check them out." I went to that school, and on December 5th, 1999, I went to an open house for that school, and the open house was so impressive, and the feeling at the school was so inviting and so incredible that I walked right around the corner to their offices after the open house, and I put down all the money and I paid for a whole year's worth of tuition. at the school, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And that school, and sadly, doesn't exist anymore out there. So what I try to do now with EHI is carry the energy that they had forward. So students that come into the Energetic Health Institute feel that same way about it.
Oh,
Does that,
fabulous. We
so
have one more question. Thank you so much, Dr. H. We have one more question. How would you determine nutrient deficiencies, and do you teach about supplements, herbs, and homeopathic remedies?
Right. So nutrient deficiencies are determined in a variety of ways. There's basic lab testing that you can do. It's not something that I do in my practice when I was practicing a lot. What we would do is we make a couple assumptions. Like, one of the assumptions we make are the water soluble vitamins need to be replenished every day. So B complex, which is so essential for the formation of ATP, of energy production at the mitochondrial level, is key. So I can tell you right now, I have never had a patient where I did not have them on a multivitamin, for example. And what we go through is a concept called therapeutic range, so people can understand just how much of a nutrient needs to go into a human body in order to affect a therapeutic response. So we have those numbers referenced and listed out for every single nutrient. So it makes it really easy for the practitioner. We definitely teach a lot about supplements. We have a whole course on supplements, 203. We definitely teach about herbs in the program, and I want to teach even more about herbs. I'm such an enormous fan of herbs. I herbs go into my body every day. Nutrients go into my body every day, and the days that they don't, the few days that they don't, I can feel the difference. And I think that's been one of my saving graces, especially through this COVID era that we're in, as I'm really healthy, and it's not an issue. As far as homeopathic, we don't teach, but not because we don't love it. I don't teach homeopathy because it deserves to have its own full course, and I won't give a partial education on anything to any student. So when and if we are able to develop that curricula at EHI, it will be at EHI, because I am a big fan of homeopathics. Like, one of the things I love using when I'm having a little writer's block, Monica, is gelsemium. You know, and it's very interesting. We've seen allium. You do great in terms of helping people stop, runny noses like that. And I've actually have had patients where, like, little babies, pediatrics, where we've used belladonna to completely cut a fever, within minutes. We've seen fevers go down from like 102 to 98, within minutes using homeopathic. So they're awesome. But I do think they deserve a lot more. I do feel like homeopathy deserves its own education, and we just don't have that established at this time at EHI, but we have a lot that we do have established.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. So if everybody's on, I'd like to show them how to read the face real quick. It looks like we've covered a couple of questions. So just a little final thing for everybody. I am a teacher at heart, and I like to nerd out with stuff. Let me show you a little bit in the classrooms, and I'm going to finish off by taking you on how to look at someone's face and tell whether or not they are likely have delayed food allergies. Let me first share a couple of things. I'm going to share a little sneak peek into the classrooms. So at EHI, we have a great learning management system. When you log in via the computer, you see this, and you have access to all of these incredible courses. So you would start in the holistic nutrition program. You would start here in H&C 101, and then what we do is we have a top-down approach in here where there's a welcome, and then we get into the curriculum. You can see everything's broken down by lesson. Once you complete a lesson, the next lesson opens up, and what you can see here is in each lesson we have a full-length presentation, an ability to download that presentation, and then supportive videos for what we call teaching concepts being how we help you develop how to think instead of telling you what to think. So we have teaching concepts like the cycle of influencing energy. Then there's, like, it's school, so there's assigned readings, and then there'll be handouts in most lessons. And we also then get into and then your homework, which we call DQs, development questions. And at the end, there's also at the very end of it, where did we put this? Right here, a quiz associated. All quizzes are open note, open book. And once you finish everything and everything gets graded, then the next lesson unlocks for you, and you just keep going through until you get completed with your coursework. So it's a really great system, very easy and user friendly. Usually takes students about one lesson before they start feeling really comfortable within it. You can access it on a pad, on your phone, different things like that. So it's all web based. So you can get to it anywhere. You can get an internet connection. Now, if you want to check us out, you can check us out at energetichealthinstitute.org. And we highly recommend you go to our prospective student info and see what's going on. We have a lot of great stuff. Our website's in development right now to add a lot of content. Now we're going to be producing content on a weekly basis. We had and what I love about it is our graduates are writing the content, Monica. So we have some great stuff. We just had a fun one, 7 nutrients to help you survive your governor. Just went out with over 29 scientific references on the key nutrients to help people have a really good chance at preventing severe COVID infections and things like that. Of course, I would encourage you to go check out our mission and core values, which is under our About Us section. Our mission is to create a truly special experience students will love for a lifetime. That's what it's about for us. As you can see, we love our students. Everything we do these are all real people who have gone through the program. Tina and Scott and Dane. There's Dane right there, and everybody. I mean, we have so many great people affiliated with the school. If they want to learn a little bit more about the people they'll be learning from, you can go down here and meet some of our teachers and people associated with the school, leadership, and everybody. We have just fantastic people all over the place, and we're just blessed. And you can tell when you have fantastic people because they stay around. Some schools I've been at, there's a lot of turnover in terms of who works and stuff like that. And that's just general in businesses. Our people have been with us for years, and especially on leadership. Everybody that's on leadership, the Leadership Council has been with us for a minimum of working with me for a minimum of now 5 years. Which is just such a blessing to have them. And then, of course, check out the Aloha Spirit, and you can get a feeling for what we are and what we're about there. Now, I do want to share one little bit of information here before everybody moves on to another part of their day. And let me just pull this up here because I think you'll enjoy this. I'm going to skip through a couple things. We could talk about lipids or lacteals, right? Oh, such good stuff to talk about. These are slides from from select presentations. We could talk about trans fatty acids and the energetics of foods and things like that. We can talk about what the right temperature is for the right oils. These are things you learn pretty quickly, and cookwares and things like that, and how you can avoid different environmental pollutants that act as obesogens and hormone disruptors. So we get into a lot of really cool topics that are all designed to help you make great decisions for your life. Now, talk a lot about GMOs. We are not fans of GMOs at all. And this is something that most people don't realize, that GMOs were only tested for 90 days before they got approved for release. And that's just ridiculous, in my opinion. We talk about that with the International Agency for Research on Cancer. So we get into a lot of nitty gritty, a lot of detail. And we talk about the biochemistry and the physiology of the body and what's going on. But I wanted to show you this. We talk about saving the bees and all that good stuff, of course. But there are some signs that you may have delayed food allergies. So everything from fatigue to things like sinusitis, inflammatory signs, and you might notice somebody like putting their knuckle into their ear and rubbing their ear around, ear itching, burning or stiffness in the joints. This is a big one. Tonsillitis and appendicitis. Those are definitive, in my opinion, in my clinical opinion, of underlying delayed food allergies, and we need to figure those out so we can clean up a person's diet. But here's something that you can use to see what's going on, people. It's dark circles under the eyes. Dark circles under the eyes are almost always indicative of delayed food allergies. We tend to associate dark circles under the eyes with person being tired, but under the eyes we have very delicate capillary beds that are susceptible to easy damage. And so when a person is eating foods that their body doesn't like, the body will produce antibodies against that food, and those antibodies can be injurious to the delicate capillary beds under the eyes and create dark circles under the eyes. So let's see a couple pictures here. So obviously this little one wasn't up all night. It's just this little one is either eating some baby formula or something mama's eating. If baby's breastfeeding, their immune system isn't digging. So you can see the dark circles right there. That's a sign of delayed food allergy. So this is one of those ways that you can look at the body and kind of know what's going on. Then we have, you can see it in this little guy right here. This you can tell this guy is fun to be around, right? But you can see the puffiness as well. That puffiness right there and the dark circles right there will tell you that there's something that this little one's eating that is problematic. Now we could guess and go, oh, it must be dairy. Oh, it must be gluten, right? Maybe it is. But one of the things that you'll learn at EHI is don't guess when you can know. And one way that you can know is by running a delayed food allergy panel, a simple blood draw. And it's something that we do all the time. I mean, I can tell you very few patients I work with I have not drawn their blood for delayed food allergy panel, because it helps me not have to guess about what their diet is. One of the worst things you can do is make the assumption that, like, say, I don't know, an avocado is good for someone. Now, so many people it is. But what if you're working with that one person who actually has a delayed food allergy to avocados and they're eating an avocado every day? That means that the thing that they think they're eating and that they're spending a lot of money on, the thing they think they're eating that's helping promote their health is actually taking them further away from health. So again, the principle is real simple. Don't guess when you can know. And this is for foods personalized to a person's health. We can know. So don't guess. And that's where delayed food allergy panels come in. Here's another one right here. I like using the kiddos because this is where I think so many people, we can make such a big positive impact on them by getting their diets right, right from the start. So, and then of course, an older kiddo right here, and you can see, I love her expression, you can see the dark circles and the puffiness. This is a sign that the capillary beds are being broken down, and most likely due to consumption of foods that her body does not like. And that's how easy it is to kind of observe people and see whether their diet is supporting them or not. So that's what I got for you all today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dr. H. Does anybody have any questions before we sign off? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and attention, Dr. H. Thank you so much for putting this together for us. It's always a pleasure. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day.
All right. And can I just say, reminder, go to energetichealthinstitute.org, fill out our scholarship application. We would love to meet you. It's non-committal. So if you just fill out the scholarship application, it's free to submit it. Get on the phone with one of our welcome specialists, and we'll even send you a gift just for getting on the phone with us and chatting with us, whether you enroll at the school or not. We're just really excited to have the opportunity to meet you. So thank you, everyone, for everything. And Monica, thank you and the NANP so much for putting this together. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope everybody got what they needed from it.
Super. Thanks so much, Dr. H. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.